Alright, so today I want to make a quick video here looking at the two type of debts that Jamaicans typically will go through at some part or some point in their lives. And these debts, well, one of them has been around for generations. It has helped keep a lot of Jamaicans fed when they may not have any money coming in. And this one is actually being able to go to your community corner shop and being able to essentially um, borrow some food until you're able to pay. So let's say today is Friday. Let's say you go to the shop, you would let the person at the shop know when you plan to pay them, and they'll give you a line of credit around the food. Um, and then now, when you do get paid, you'd go and pay off that bill. So this has been around for generations. This has been around from my grandfather's time, even before that. You just go to the shop. So typically, if it's a shop in a community, the owner's gonna know you personally, and they're gonna know your reputation. So it's pretty much an honor system. I have no shops that don't do this any at all because people have come and taken the food and stuff, and months and years, I mean, literal years, haven't paid off the bill. So some shop owners are kind of wary of that. Um, Others, even with those things happening over time, they'd still rent based on individual, because, it's still like a community service in a sense. Because if they have the goods and it's not being moved as quickly as needed, then it does make sense to kind of, give it to somebody that needs it. And then now, if it's in a case where they'll pay back bit by bit. So typically, how it works, you go to the corner shop and they'll have a book like this or some other type of book, and they'll write down the prices of all the items and how, uh, and you'll pretty much tabulate how much it comes up to. They'll give you the pricing of everything, and you give them a time of when you pay it back. So typically, they're not gonna give you like a huge extended window. Typically, it's gonna be a couple of days, right? And then now you go in and you settle that bill, either fully one time or in part. That's the first form of debt that Jamaicans encounter. The other one is related to the phones now. So it's been kind of improved upon. So it's kind of two types under the phone now. So you can either borrow credit, which is the thing that we use in Jamaica typically, um, to make calls and all that. You can borrow credit. This is under the two major providers. So Flow, which is one, and Digicel, both offer an option where you can actually borrow credit from them. And then when you put the credit back on the phone, um, they will pretty much give you uh, they will pretty much give you an improved line of credit based on how well you repay. So let's say, let's all right. So the smallest amount you can buy typically, well, there is it's even smaller amounts. But let's say you buy $100 worth of credit, um, and you decide that you need to have $200. Let's say you wanted to put on data, and the data plan is $200, and you have $100 on the phone already. You decide to borrow to $100. When you borrow that $100, the company, either Digital or Flow, is gonna have a fee attached to that. Typically, it's around, I think it's around 10%, and with that fee, they're gonna give you like a timeline for you to pay it back. So, and they're gonna send like reminders and stuff. But the sooner that you pay back, the more extended your line of credit is gonna be. So, let's say you get the $100 loan today, you pay that back, and you get a $200 limit. then you get a $300 limit, and then $400 limit. But it's not quite like that. But it's in increments. It expands based on how well you repay. And so I mentioned that it's been split into two now. So now there's also the data that you can actually um, borrow from digital. I'm not seeing Flow doing this one yet, but it's pretty similar. So what you can do is actually borrow um, data, and then when you put on credit, you pretty much repay for the balance that is associated with that data. So it's still pretty much the same thing. It's just kind of eliminating the middle, because typically what is going to happen once you put on credit, you're going to want to put on a plan. So instead of you having to buy the credit, put on plan, or borrow the credit, or borrow the credit and put on the plan, they're gonna just gonna give you the option to just say, all right, you can just borrow the plan directly. Then when you pay back for the credit, then you can just put that back. So this one teaches money management, and the because it's structured a lot more like how loans typically work. So it gives you a reward system that kind of opens up new lines of credit based on your ability to repay over time and how well you repay. So the rewards, as I mentioned, it opens up new lines of credit. It opens up higher balances that you can actually access, and it also um, instills in you that this is something that you want to repay over time. So um, that's typically that's kind of good too, because a lot of stuff now are subscription based. So you have uh, your Wi-Fi providers subscription based, um, your power provider, so that's JPS, water. Even if it's a case where your water is just not like from the NWC, but if you do like the big bottled waters, that's also a subscription. Anyways, but yeah, so it does kind of help you to kind of get familiar with the idea of repayment, and you know, getting access to bigger loans based on your qualification for that loan. All right. So yeah, that's the video. If you have any questions about this, let me know. So just to recap. So there's one which is the shop credit system. You can borrow food and then repay. The other one, you can borrow credit, or you borrow data, and then pay that back either over time, or you pay that back in a lump sum. All right, that's the video. Have a good day and see you in the next one. All right, done yapping.